fresh off of sitting there right at courtside with Wick Grusbeck, the owner of the Celtics. Drew Bledsoe, how are you, Drew?
I'm doing great, Rich, man. I was fired up last night, man. That was so fun, man, being out here in Boston. You know, this Celtics team, it's cool, man. They got their two biggest stars on the sidelines, and they just got a bunch of young kids with Al Horford leading them. And, man, they're playing great basketball. It's fun to watch.
And then you've got, I mean, just seeing you in your Rozier the third jersey, and he signed it, right? You put an autographed jersey on to fire up the crowd last night.
It was great, man. This whole thing, man, it's one of those deals that just couldn't have happened 15 years ago. But in this social media world we live in, it just became this thing, and it's been a lot of fun. And I just got to meet Terry yesterday for the first time, and man, really like the kid, love his game, and love his energy, man. It's a cool kid.
So, do you know who Eric Bledsoe is, Drew?
Absolutely, my more athletic cousin, cousin Eric. No, I actually reached out to Eric. I filmed a deal for Game 7 when the Celtics were playing the Bucks. I reached out to him and said, "Hey, man, I just want you to know, really respect your game and just having some fun." And then I sent him some wine, so hopefully there's no hard feelings.
That's great. So when you say this wouldn't have happened 15 years ago, you're just talking about social media in general, is what you're saying?
Well, Terry's mistake, calling Eric Drew. First of all, it was sort of a funny mistake, man. Terry's so young, I'm not sure he even really knew who the heck I was, but it was an honest mistake. But then for that thing to just catch fire and turn into this whole thing, I just don't think that happened 15 years ago.
So who reached out to you? How did you first hear about it? I
got my phone kind of blew up when Terry made the mistake. It's an honest mistake, and called Eric by my name instead. My phone blew up. I got all these text messages from people back here that thought it was pretty funny. And then Eric kind of threw some gasoline on the fire when he said he didn't even know who Terry Rozier was. So, but yeah, it was funny and it's fun, but it's just really fun for me to come back and reconnect with the fans of Boston and be around this Celtics team has been just cool.
Yeah, you know what, Drew? I'd love to dive into that a little bit. Drew Bledsoe here on the Rich Eisen Show. And when you say it's cool to reconnect with the Boston sports fan, let's dive into that a little bit more. What do you mean by that, Drew?
Well, when I got here, I got to the Patriots in 1993, and the team had been pretty awful, and the teams that I was privileged to be a part of, we sort of set the stage for what the Patriots have become. There's a young fan base out here that doesn't even know that Patriots football existed before 2001, but some of the older fans remember the hard times and really remember those teams that I was blessed to be a part of really fondly.
And then for you to just let everybody know who Drew Bledsoe is in the same way that Terry Rozier wants everyone to know his name, is that simple? Is that a simple boiling down of it way? On a national level, a lot of people think that I'm just a guy that lost his job when I got hurt to Brady. But fans out here, they have a little more sense of history, and they know that it's a little bigger than that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the numerology in all this, Drew.
Yeah, how funny is that, right? Kyrie's number 11 goes down, and number 12 comes in, and sort of an unknown guy, and starts lighting it up. So, yeah, there are some parallels there. Although I do think it's a little different. I think there's going to be a spot for Kyrie when he comes back. He's one of the great basketball players that's in the world today, and I don't think his job's going to be gone when he comes back from this injury.
Well, interesting, Drew. We were talking about this at the top of the show here, is that 25 times Boston sports fans have seen their teams wind up in the Final Four since 2002, calendar year 2002, and the quarterback who won that first appearance in the Final Four in that AFC Championship game, what would that quarterback's name be in that 2000?
Oh yeah, that's Eric Bledsoe's long lost cousin that came in and won that game. No, man, it was fun. I will tell you, man, that the Boston sports fans since 2001, they have been awfully spoiled. It's like talking to the dad of one of these kids that's probably late teens now. And, every year he just, say, hey, Dad, which one of our teams do you think is going to win a championship this year? So they've lived in a little bit of a bubble and don't realize how hard it is for most teams to win a world championship.
Interesting also, Drew, here, I noticed in the social media world that you're discussing that you've been having your fun, you're also branding. I noticed when you put your Scary Terry T-shirt on, you were holding up a bottle of wine, which I thought was very savvy of you. What was that bottle of wine you were holding up? Let's give some pop. Let's give some run here.
Yeah,
Drew.
man, that's Doubleback Cabernet, one of the great wines in the entire world, man. It's been a super fun project. We went back to my little hometown in Walla Walla, Washington, and started the winery a little over a decade ago now. And it's been a lot of fun, man. The wine sells fast, and we get to have fun, traveling and quote unquote marketing wine by going to cool spots. Wine.
And the old I'm glad it's working out. It appears to be working out, Drew, because you heard that old joke about how you make a small fortune in the wine business.
Yeah, exactly. You start with a large fortune. Yeah, it's an expensive endeavor, but if you do things right, you can make it sustainable. And I've got a killer team up there that really makes great wine for us. So it's allowed us to actually turn it into a little bit of a business. You
know what I'd love to do, Drew, is maybe the Rich Eisen show should have some sort of sports wine tasting here. You and because Woodson is
you got Woodson, you got Rick Myers making some great wine in Napa. You got Dan Marino and Damon Heward have partnered up, and they're making some killer wine up in the Northwest. We could have a little NFL wine showdown.
Vermeil.
And Dick Vermeil. Yep. Making some good wine. So yeah, there's
maybe we should
and then in your world, Jim Nance is making some good wine with
the
calling.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at
a lot of these sports guys trying to pretend like we're sophisticated and start making wine.
Let's do it. I'm going to do this, Drew. You're going to hear from me very shortly. Before I let you go, so how many more do we expect to see you at the Eastern Conference Finals too? I mean, you're now officially a good luck charm. True.
Drew. I think they're going to have to bring me out. I think that in the last 5 or 6 years, I'm undefeated going to Celtics games. Even when they weren't very good a couple years ago, we showed up and they picked up a W. So I think I may have to make that cross country trip again in the next couple weeks.
I don't know if you know what off the top of your head. What is your career record against Cleveland? Maybe you should go show up in Cleveland with this number 12 jersey.
That's I think like most players.
Do it, say it.
The record's pretty decent against Cleveland, although we did lose to them in the playoffs back in '94. But outside of that, I think it's pretty good.
That's right. And who was the coach of that Cleveland team, Drew?
Yeah, that was this unknown guy that's gone on to moderate success, Bill Belichick.
That's unbelievable. It's amazing how things work in this life, Drew. It really, really is. Thanks for the time. That was a lot of fun watching you have fun. It really was.
Oh, thanks, Rich. Yeah, it really was fun, man. I was sitting there with Wick Grossbeck, the owner of the Celtics, and I was telling him, they do the national anthem and then they do the introductions, and all of a sudden my body just starts to react and starts to act like it wants to go play. Obviously not basketball. That would not be good. But even at 46, I still feel like, man, all right, give me the ball. I can give you a good quarter. I'll give you a good quarter. I may not be able to go beyond that, but I'll give you a good solid quarter.
Oh man, Drew, great chatting with you. Let's chat again soon, okay?
Yeah, we'll get together and drink some wine, Rich.
I'd love it. You got it. That's Drew Bledsoe.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.